Let's talk about something that's literally the backbone of pretty much any modern business, your enterprise network. Right now, networking is at this huge turning point, and getting a handle on this shift is absolutely key. It's all about getting you more control, cutting those long-term costs, and, actually making it easier for your business to grow.
So let's just get right to it. I want you to ask yourself this honestly. Is your network an asset that's pushing your business forward, or is it an anchor just weighing you down with endless complexity and cost? How you answer that really frames everything we're about to dive into. Because here's the reality we're all facing. The number of devices connecting to everything is just exploding. At the same time, businesses are expanding to more and more locations. And then, the big one, security. The expectations for keeping everything locked down and safe are just through the roof. You put those three things together, and it's a perfect storm that's pushing traditional networks right to their breaking point.
All right, so let's dig into that breaking point. We're going to look at exactly why the old playbook for building and managing a network just doesn't cut it anymore.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. Here's the thing. The problem probably isn't you or your team. It's not about bad management. It's that the fundamental design of most networks comes from a totally different era. They were built for a world that, let's be honest, just doesn't exist anymore. And that leads us right into what you could call the traditional networking trap. And trust me, it's a real trap. It's all about those costs. Some you see, and a lot that you don't, that come from being locked into one vendor's proprietary, closed-off systems. And if you're wondering what that trap feels like in the real world, well, it looks a lot like this. It's a tangled mess. It's incredibly complex, totally rigid, and trying to make one simple change feels like this monumental, almost impossible task. That's the inflexibility we're talking about. This old philosophy really rests on three pillars. First, you buy hardware and software that are bundled together. You can't separate them. It's kind of like that printer that only works if you buy their super expensive ink. Second, all your upgrades are driven by these costly licensing fees. And third, all that just leads to you having very little flexibility and being completely dependent on that one vendor. So, what's the alternative? We'll get to that. Okay, now let's talk about the way out, the modern, open alternative. And I want to be really clear here. This isn't just some small tweak or a minor upgrade. No way. This is a fundamental shift in philosophy. It's about moving away from those lockdown systems and embracing open, truly flexible architectures. And the contrast to that tangled web we saw earlier couldn't be more obvious. A modern network feels like this. It's about clean integration, seamless connections, and a design that's actually built for the future, not just trying to keep up with today. And here we go. Let's fill in that blank column. Modern networking totally flips the script. Instead of those proprietary bundles, you get hardware that's built on open standards. Instead of being stuck with one software, you get a choice of network operating systems. It's just like choosing between Windows or Linux for your servers. And all of that leads to standardized operations that make scaling your business dramatically easier. So, what do we actually mean when we say open architecture? It's pretty simple, really. It just means you're building a network with parts from different companies, and they all work together beautifully because they all follow the same open rules. The two words you got to remember here are choice and control. You get to decide what's best for you.
Okay, the tech is cool, for sure. But what does all this actually mean for the business, for the bottom line? Let's pivot and look at how this modern approach unlocks real, tangible value. This is the why it matters part.
First and foremost, let's talk money. The moment you break free from that vendor lock-in, you introduce competition. And we all know what competition does, right? It drives down costs. This gives you incredible flexibility and power over the long term when it comes to buying your gear. Second, speed. When you have a standardized open model, opening a new office or a new warehouse stops being this huge one-off project. It becomes a repeatable, predictable process, almost like a template. And that means you can expand and grow your business so much faster. Next up, security. An open model gives you much more granular control. You can slice and dice your network, segmenting it exactly how you need to. And you can enforce your security policies consistently everywhere, from the main headquarters right down to the smallest remote office. You also get so much more clarity. Instead of juggling a half dozen different management dashboards from your one vendor, you can get a single clean view of your entire operation across every single site. It's a total game changer for just knowing what's going on. And finally, reliability.
When you can see everything clearly and your operations are standardized, you can stop just reacting to fires. You can actually become proactive. You can spot and solve problems before they cause costly downtime.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but you might be thinking, how on earth do we actually get there? Let's talk about making that forward shift. This is all about a practical, phased approach that modernizing your network an achievable goal, not some overwhelming, scary project.
Look, you do this methodically. It's all designed to minimize disruption. You start by just assessing your priorities. Then you design a scalable architecture and your security baseline. You get the hardware ready, and then, and this is the key part, you deploy and validate it one site at a time. It's a step-by-step process that ensures a really smooth transition to a much more modern way of operating.
So, we'll end on this thought. Go back to that first question we asked. Imagine your network is no longer an anchor holding you back, but a flexible, scalable asset, a true advantage. What could your business build on top of that? What new opportunities could you seize with a network that's truly ready for anything? That's the real question worth asking.